Hello James, good to see your video up. Alright, the first thing I want to tell you is that it's good to see you working out. The second thing is I don't want you to do this again. Don't do that again. Right? If you think the weight is too light, then you say so in your comments and I'll increase it if I think it's appropriate. Right? So you have a number of problems, you're worried about your back, you're worried about various other musculoskeletal issues. So we put together a program that I know that I can advance safely for you. Do not advance the weight on your own without consulting me. We will advance your weight. It will get plenty heavy soon enough. Please don't do that. The idea is for us to progress. I'm really very good at this. So please trust me and don't change your program without consulting me. That said, let's go ahead and have a look here. Okay, so I don't know which set this is. Let's see. I'm just going to refresh here. So 90 was not too light. If that's 135 on there, 90 was not too light. Because I can't tell which set this is. Is this the 90 or is this the 135? It looks like it's the 135, but I'm not sure, right? So which set is this? Whichever set it is, Jim, whatever set it is, that is not the range of motion that I need, right? That is not the exercise that I'm doing. So we talked about this. We talked about, are you doing the full range of motion? This needs to be happening in the squat range of motion. So your knees need to be coming way up here, as if you were squatting with your hips below parallel. So these aren't going far enough, right? They aren't. So that's not the range of motion that I want. What I want next time is I'm going to keep you at 90 pounds, and you're going to get your legs up here around your belly, so that your thighs are up around your belly. The reason we're doing this leg press exercise is to get you strong enough to squat below parallel. So your leg press has to recapitulate that range of motion, right? You have to get your knees up beyond your hip joint, and that's just not quite enough range of motion there. So these are too short. They're too truncated to be of value to us. They'll make your quads a little bit stronger, but that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to make the squat movement stronger. And that is not a set of 5. How many are you doing here? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now those are a little bit closer to the range of motion I want, but still not quite. 10. All right. Except I didn't prescribe sets of 10, Jim. I prescribed sets of 5. I prescribed 3 sets of 5 at 90 pounds. And that's what I want. I'm going to talk to you like a coach. When I prescribe 3 sets of 5 at 90 pounds, Jim, that's what I want. And that's all I want. Okay, let's go to your press. Okay, that's a good top position. It's a little bit faster than I want it to be. We can make it explosive later, but for now I want to increase the weight without increasing any impulsive force on your shoulder. Keep it straight, close to your face. Here is where I want you to really think about what's going on. Up here, I want you to shrug it up. I want you to shrug it up tall. as tall as it will go. Not a bad top position. See your elbows here? Your elbows are too far back here. Your elbows need to be up in front like we talked about last time. Get your elbows up in front. Your elbows are pointing way too back. Your elbows are, in other words, this is your radius. This is the profile of your radius here, right? We can agree on that. The radius is going to be the weight-bearing bone for this exercise. And the radius needs to be vertical. This is not vertical, this is angled backwards. You have to get your elbows in front of the bar to get your radius vertical. And I can link to some resources for you on that. Jordan Feigenbaum's excellent article, Gripping Matters. Because, look, when the radius is pointed the way you have it pointed, right, when you apply force to the bar, the force will be applied in this direction instead of straight up next to your face, and the bar will go out and around your face, and that's not what we want. See, that bar should not be that far away from your face. You're increasing the moment arm, the length of the moment arm between the load. If we drop a vertical here and send it back to the shoulder joint, this is the moment arm around your shoulder. We want to minimize that. Now, it's very difficult to make it 0 until it gets over your head, but we want to get it shorter and shorter and shorter. So that bar can be closer to your face. You got to push it straight up against your face, and the way to do that is with a vertical radius. See how as you start to correct it, your forearms get more vertical. That's where they should be to begin with. Now you're doing a good job of pushing forward under the bar and shrugging. That's better. The other thing is, we need to have you have a straighter wrist. Your wrists are bent too far back here, right? We want to bear the weight on the wrist. So we want really what we want is no extension in the wrist at all. When you have the bar up here in this part of your hand and your wrist is bent like that, then you introduce the wrist joint into the kinetic chain. And we want to take the wrist out of the kinetic chain. So I want you to work on doing it with a straight wrist. Okay. You say due to back issue, but I don't know what back issue you're talking about. If you were worried about your back, and that's one thing. If you were actually having back pain during the lift, that's another thing. So I need a little bit more detail than that to understand why it is that you stopped before you added another 10 pounds to the bar. Okay, now this back, Jim, is pretty good. This back is pretty good. You can see you've got some lumbar extension here. Now, if you don't do anything else, maybe your hips need to be a little bit higher. See how your knees are poking forward in front of your elbows? That means your hips could be a little bit higher. But if you don't do anything else, you can probably pull from there. You're lifting it too fast. I want you to squeeze the bar off the floor. I want you to hold your breath while you're doing it. You're using too much arm at the top there. You're shrugging and yanking on the bar. See, your elbows are bent. Your elbows need to be straight. The bar needs to just hang from your shoulders. The stance looks a little weird, not quite even.
Alright, sit it down. Let me show you it.
Alright, I want to know who that is. Right? There was nothing wrong with those deadlifts. And Jim, you need to know that in my judgment, you could have added 10 pounds to that bar and done the 115 set that was prescribed. So, to reiterate, first of all, unless you have a very compelling reason I don't want you to add more weight than I prescribe. I want you to do the sets and reps that I prescribe. On the leg press, you need to get your legs up higher. You need more range of motion, right? And you can check that on your warm-up videos, so you can see whether or not your knees are getting way up here. In other words, I don't want your thigh, the top of your thigh at right angles to your body. I want an acute angle. I want it to look like that, like a squat, like a deep squat. It needs to recapitulate the range of motion of the squat. So you have to work on that, and we're going to keep you at 90 pounds. On the press, those look pretty good. I need the elbows up in front of the bar so that you have a vertical radius underneath the bar. I want your wrist to be straighter, and I want the bar to travel closer to your face. Don't let the bar go around your face. Get your face out of the way and make the bar go straight up. Shrugs at the top definitely look better, so keep it up. If you're going to take weight off the bar, I can be very forgiving on that, as long as there's a good and compelling reason for it. This is a little bit vague. I don't know what that meant. You handled this set of 105 very, very easily, based on your bar speed and what I can tell about the effort that you were putting into the movement. There is no reason you could not have done 115 unless you were having acute pain, right? So I want you to stick with the program, is basically what I'm saying. So I'm going to go back in. I'm going to make sure that your program is all set for the next time you lift, and I'll talk to you in a couple of days. Take care. I hope you have a nice weekend.